Well, welcome to a special surprise live show. I was just preparing for tonight's show, and if you notice at the beginning, we've got a real barn burner tonight, talking about some of the things that we've talked about over the past few days and kind of putting them together. And man, I'm telling you, it's going to be something really, really strong. And is it hope? Is it hopium? I don't know. But if it's all right for the gloom and doomers to talk about everything that could go wrong and manifest all of their bad news, well, why can't we talk about what could go right and manifest our good news? But I wanted to talk to you about something that it's a major pet peeve for me. And it'll be late night tonight, late night in the Heartland, 10 p.m. Central Time till midnight. We open up the phones for your calls. And I really welcome all of the trolls to come back again tonight. We appreciate a bigger crowd. And it doesn't matter if you're a troll or if you're a supporter, we still get the same kick in the algorithms for you. So come one, come all. Trolls, we love you long time. And we're getting ready to do a great show tonight. But I want to talk to you today about something that's very, very simple, yet incredibly complex. And it's the reason why we're losing the battle. Because we have become incredibly intellectually lazy. And we have lost the battle for words and for language. Because words mean things, and we say that all the time, but we don't really believe it, or else we would act differently. And it makes a big difference in all of our life, but it especially makes a big difference when we're talking about things like the Bible, the script, your script, not my scripture, but your script. And I just want to show you something that I hope will trigger in your mind the desire to say, you know what, I need to get better. You know what? I need to do better because I'm being silly and I'm not really being a person of knowledge. So I just want to show this to you. And it's one of those things that everybody believes. And the reason everybody believes it is because it gets said over and over and over again by people that haven't read the language, or have they? And they're trying to start us down a path of not understanding and respecting and believing whatever we hear. But it gets said over and over and over again by people that either don't know or do know. Most of them, I think, are just irrational. And there's really no other word. They're just, they don't know for whatever reason. They're irrational. And it gets repeated, and all of a sudden it's a truism when it's as false as it can possibly be. What are we talking about, Jeff? We're talking about this great truism within the conspiratorium. That's us, those of us that do what we do and listen to the stuff that we listen to. This great truth, so-called, in the conspiratorium that, well, Jesus was probably black because the Bible says he had hair like wool. First of all, Jesus wasn't even real. Prove me that he was real and don't use your Bible. Go. But that's not the point of this. I don't want to get distracted. The point is that the Bible doesn't say that his hair was like wool. It doesn't. And if you actually took the time to read it, then you would not say stupid things like the Bible says that Jesus had hair like wool. No, it doesn't. And it's not even a Greek Hebrew thing. It's just a read the damn words thing. Let me show you what it actually says. And it doesn't say that Jesus had hair like wool. It just doesn't. Watch. I'm in Revelation 1, and I'll come back to that at the end. I'm in Revelation 1. And if you go down to verse number, I think it's 14, verse number 14. And I have to show you a couple things. Number one, because you're lazy, and because you believe whatever you're told, which I guess is redundant, you probably think that when you see italicized words in the Bible, that means they're important. Means the opposite. The italicized words are the ones that they're admitting they added. When you see an italicized word in the Bible like his there, that means that the translators are admitting, hey, we changed this one. This shit wasn't really here. We put it in. Of course, most of this shit wasn't really there, and they put it in. See, this is called distraction. This is called faux closure. You know, there's disclosure, which I'm about to give you some of, and then there's faux closure. It's not really disclosure. It's faux closure because they want you to think they're telling you by putting in some of these italicized words that they're showing you everywhere where they added words. They're not even close to showing you everywhere they added words. But when you see these words, it doesn't mean they're important. It means they were added by the translators, admittedly so. So what does this part of the script, your script, what does it say? His head, and let's just read it with the added words. Even with the added words, you're still lazy, and you're gonna be saying, "Oh man, Jeff, you're right. I am lazy. Oh man, Jeff, I feel stupid," and you probably should. You probably should, but that's okay. His head and his hairs were white like wool. Let's read it without the added words. His head and hairs white like wool. I could stop the broadcast right now. You see it, don't you? It does not say that his hair was like wool. It says, and you know, most, oh, it's texture, it's woolly texture, so it's got to be a black guy. It doesn't say that. It says his hair was white like wool, white like snow. If you're too dumb to understand what white like wool means, they help you out because they add white like snow. So if his hair is woolly the way you say it, is his hair also wet and cold? I know I'm making you feel like a dummy, and frankly, you deserve to feel like a dummy over this because you've allowed yourself to get lazy. You've allowed yourself to become dummies because you don't care about language anymore. And this is why you're so easily fooled by so many of these shysters on YouTube. And this is why I'm pushing 50,000 and they're way ahead of me because I tell you the truth the way it is and you get mad at me and they just lie to you and you'd rather be lied to. You'd rather they I'm not going to go there. But do you see what it says? His head and hairs are white like wool, white like snow. Has nothing whatsoever to do with the texture of his hair. It's talking exclusively about the color of his hair. And again, we're talking about the color of the hair of the man that wasn't there. He's not even real. But teaching you about language. It says his hairs were white like wool, not that they were like wool. And that makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? One little word. One little word. One little word. White like wool. The emphasis is the white, not the wool, just as the emphasis is the white, not the snow. Snow is what? It's white. Wool is what? It's white. His hair was what? White. Makes no commentary whatsoever about the texture of his hair because guess what? We don't care. That's not the point. Now, let me finish up with this. Do you see what the name of this book is? Do you see an S on the end of that? Then why do 90% of you say the book of Revelations? Why? Lazy. Lazy. Silly. Stupid, right? Well, Jeff, why does it matter? Well, number one, it matters because it's not revelation. It's not revelations. It's revelation. And you need to understand that words mean things, and you need to begin to build the desire to be accurate. Is it the book of Revelations? Yes or no? So why do you want to continue to call it Revelations? Lazy? Silly? Stupid? But here's the real reason why it's come to be known colloquially, that means by everybody, as revelations. And this is very emblematic of why language is so important, and being exact in language is so important. Because when you say revelations, it makes you think, oh, well, this is a book that's full of a whole bunch of revelations and a whole bunch of really scary, weird shit. And by the way, the book is called in Greek, the Apocalypse. And oh, I say the Apocalypse, and some of you wet yourself just a little bit. I say the Apocalypse, and your sphincter pucker factor went exponentially through the roof. I say Apocalypse. Oh, I think I soiled myself. Do you know what apocalypse means? Oh, yeah, scary. You know what apocalypse means? War. You know what apocalypse means? Chopping heads, mark of the beast. Apocalypse means to unveil. So the people that write this script are so good that they've got you afraid of unveiling and revealing, and they got you believing that it's scary, because you know what? It is scary to them. But I'm in the unveiling business. I'm in the apocalypse business. And that business is starting to boom. And this shows you how important it is. Let me show you this, because it's absolutely freaking crucial. So it's not the book of Revelations. It's not a bunch of scary stories. It's the book of Revelation. It's one single revelation. And you don't even have to believe me, because look what it says. It says it is the revelation. How many? The one. And it's the revelation of Jesus Christ. So important. And the thing that you know, and after the show, I'll go put these, I'll make a Caesar's Messiah playlist. You got to watch that, because Joe Atwill, and I've got to call him again, breaks it down so beautifully for you. And if you care to know the truth, you can. And if you don't, I don't care. It's so very, very clear and so very, very plain that in the book of Revelation, which was written about 100 AD by Romans, Jesus Christ is the Emperor Titus. No doubt about it. It can't be argued by intelligent people. It can't be argued by objective people. And I'll make that playlist right afterwards, and I'll link it into the information box in this video. So it's not revelations. They want you to think it's revelations, so you don't realize and say, oh, it's actually the revelation. Well, what is the revelation? And if you start studying, you realize that Jesus Christ is Titus. So what they're really talking about here is the revelation of the Emperor Titus, to show his servants the things which must shortly come to pass. So what this is, ladies and gentlemen, the book of Revelation, I'm going to go deep into this, homeboys, parroting Sam Tripoli. We're going to get deep into this, homeboys, and we're going to show you, first of all, I don't want to get into that, but just know it's a revelation, right? It's not revelations. The hair is white in color, nothing to do with texture. So it doesn't prove that Jesus was black, and Jesus is not real. So I'm not trying to make any points. I'm trying to show you that you're lazy around language, and it's costing you big time. It's costing you about the hair thing, and it's also costing you about thinking this is revelations and being afraid of an apocalypse, when really it's a revelation and an unveiling of what's going to happen. And if you know what's going to happen, then you know, and we're living in it right now, that this is a attempted communist takeover. And as long as they can make you think it's the book of Revelations and the apocalypse is scary, and you got to run home to their Jesus who's got hair like wool when it doesn't say that, then they will make certain that you'll never, ever know that it's actually a communist revolution that's taking place. And they're so good that they're telling you that it's a communist revolution coming to pass, but they're tricking you into think that it's religious and it's prophecy and it's good for you. So not only do you sit by and do nothing while the communists take over, you cheer them on. All because somewhere along the line, you got intellectually lazy. And you went and got stupid on me. You went and got stupid on me. It's not revelations, it's revelation. And it's the revelation of Titus, the Roman controllers, telling you how they're going to set up. This whole book of Revelation is telling you, we're going to get into it, Revelation as Communist Manifesto. It's going to show you whole shit. And if we'd have known this about even 10 years ago, things would have been different. But now we're playing catch up. And you got to stop being lazy. You got to stop being stupid. And you got to start holding yourself accountable and holding accountable the idiots that you listen to on YouTube. And I recommend you stop listening to the idiots. A lot easier if you stop listening to the idiots, because the hair is not like wool. The hair is white like wool, white like snow. No, he wasn't black. And it's not the book of Revelations. It's the book of Revelation. And it's the revelation of Titus showing you how they're going to take us over if we don't wake the hell up. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's that easy. And a good thing about being lazy is all you have to do is stop. Just stop being lazy, and everything gets better again. We'll be back tonight at 10 p.m. But for some reason, I feel like I'm going to do this. I'll open up the phone lines just for a minute. I'll stay here for 5 minutes if somebody has a question that they want to call in. They want to be polite, if they want to be interesting, and if they want to talk about anything. And, if you're a troll, I'll bounce you out in a New York second, and that's okay. We love trolls because they help us talk to people that aren't stupid. And that's what we're here for, is to get a message out. So if you want to call real quickly, 913-279-0831, ask a question about what I just said. Ask a question about something that I haven't said yet. Ask about what we're going to do tonight. I probably won't tell you much about it because I want you to tune in tonight. But we'll see what happens. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind?
Hey, Jeff, it's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck, what's up, brother?
Oh, not a lot. I've been working my ass off lately.
Well, good for you. That's better than not having any work.
What? Right, exactly. Not being lazy. This has been on my mind for a while, and it's sort of not that you need much promotion, but all these Tinos and baby toothers and people that think they think they know what's going on, and they don't, because they call themselves Christian. If they affiliate themselves in any way with that, they're wrong.
Exactly.
You cannot be the master of two houses, and you are more than qualified. You shouldn't have to say it as often as you do. You have over 150,000 hours of biblical interpretation. You have a college degree. You've been on 5 continents spreading a message that you were at that time dumb enough to go along with, just as I was when I was younger. But you stepped away from that, and you are overly qualified. So anybody that comes into the chat room or calls and makes stupid comments, like you said, they're broke back bitches. Some stay, some leave. But Christianity, the numbers have gone down, and I know for a fact that you are one of the driving forces for that, and I thank you.
I believe that we are one of the driving forces, Chuck, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Jeff.
Hey, my pleasure. It's a pleasure to be with you, and it's a pleasure to have you listening. Thanks so much. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind?
Well, I just have been fascinated by all the things that you've been talking about, and it just occurred to me with your knowledge base. When did all this occur to you? At what point in your education did you come to these conclusions? I mean, your information is interesting to me, but was it what part of your life? I've just followed you for probably past month or so.
Well, good. Thanks so much. And people want to know this, and I don't want to talk about me because I have a lot more interesting things to talk about. But and plus, it embarrasses me a little bit because it was right after I got out of Bible college. I got into the church and I started realizing that everything they taught me in Bible college was mostly bullshit. And then I started seeing things and I started realizing, like, damn, this isn't right. But because the church was paying my food and paying my car and buying my clothes and feeding my kids and giving me a salary, and I didn't have any other, but educational background, I stuck around and said, well, maybe I'm wrong. I'll just put that on the shelf. I'll let it go. But I probably knew 3 years in that it was wrong. And it took me, well, I'll give myself a break. Maybe it was 6 years in, but it took me at least 10, 11, 12, 13 years to get enough integrity to leave and quit. And, my ex-wife helped me do that because I told her, oh, we're leaving. She said, well, not we, maybe thee, but not we. So it took me a while to do it. And it was to my embarrassment. Did that answer your question at all?
It does, but I'm just fascinated by your knowledge, and I just wonder if there was like an epiphany or if there was like a state. It was like in steps, or
there was an epiphany that said, wait a minute, Paul is teaching a completely different religion than Jesus. I'm like, damn. That was the epiphany. That's where it started. And then, of course, I said, oh, well, Jesus is real and Paul is fake. And then I got rid of Paul. And then I said, oh, shit, I can't prove Jesus unless I got a Bible. What if Jesus isn't real? Then all of a sudden I realized, shit, America's a Christian country. No, it's not. America was a deist country. What did the deists believe? They believe that God is manifest in nature and that there's no such thing as learning from other men. You got to learn from yourself through nature, from the divine. And then I about had my shit together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the process.
Okay, well, that helps me that you made that acknowledgement about Paul.
Yeah.
That at first you were saying, was Paul real? Or yeah. So
yep.
that's very deeply helpful. So what do you suggest about, what version of Old Testament do you read?
I suggest the throw that shit in the garbage version. Because right now where you are, the best thing you can do is stop reading the Bible. Because the Bible is meant to keep you locked into a fear and guilt, blood magic, trauma-based mind control matrix. And what you got to do is throw that shit away and just get alone with yourself in nature and just start listening and watching and observing. And once you get into a place where you realize you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free, your divinity, your sovereignty starts to surge, then you can go back into the Bible and realize, oh, I see what you're doing there. And then every now and then you see, oh, you're telling me what you're doing right there. And then you get to the place where I'm at, where you can pick it apart and show people that it's a trap. But the best thing to do right now is just throw it away. Act like the Bible's a rattlesnake, and every time you see one, run from it. Great call. Thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate it. And we'll take one more, and then I'm going to get out of here. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What's on your mind?
Catherine in Ohio, man.
Hey, what's up, girl?
Hey, first off, I bought some Nana Soma last night.
It's great stuff. You will love it.
I'm looking forward to it. So I wanted to address this exact nature of language and how it's so vital. And I feel like school teaches most kids that it's not that important. Kind of get it right, but
and that's by design, isn't it, Catherine?
What's that?
That's by design, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is, because they use the words to enslave us.
And another word that they send us down this road: gender. Mm-hmm. Oh, what does gender mean? Well, that means men and women. No, gender is a word that is exclusively about language. It's like the best example I can give is I used to speak German, and German has die, der, and das. You use die with certain tenses. I can't remember. I think die is neutral, der is masculine, and das is feminine, I think. So that's what gender's about.
Like that too. It's like
de,
da, or le, la.
And see, Catherine, what they did was, we know if we're talking sex, any idiot can look and see how many sexes are there. 2. That's it.
2.
But
Right,
when you
gender
turn
is
it
a
into
perception.
gender, now we got 72 genders. 72.
Yeah, when I saw that list, I was like, we've got to stop this now. These children are insane.
It's just
What are they
crazy.
talking about? How could
So see,
anybody
we
want
let
that?
them get away with gender. We should have just said, no, bullshit. It's sex, and we're
Uh-huh.
sticking with sex. Finish your point before you were so rudely interrupted.
Oh, no, I love when you do. I was going to say the phonetics themselves is, it's Hebrew. And so this English language is Hebrew. And it's like roots. And if you do the etymologies on these words, just like you do, when you go to Bible Hub, I mean, it all matters and it all makes a difference in manifestation. So like, for example, apocalypse, a great word. And nobody knows the definition except for a handful of people.
Yep.
And so then they get us worried and freaking out so we can manifest this, freaky apocalypse idea.
Exactly. And Tracy hit it on the head regarding sex. There's only two, indoor or outdoor plumbing. That's it.
Yeah, whatever.
Catherine, I hope I see you again tonight. Is there any other thing that you want to add?
Definitely great show. I'm glad I caught you real quick.
All right. Anything you want to add?
No, just, I think that, well, actually, I'm going to say this. If you want to be divine, sovereign, and free, you have to start taking responsibility for your words, your actions, thoughts, all of it. And these things matter because, you just showed where people jump off the deep end over some ill-read, ill-understood words, And
if you don't take divinity and sovereignty over the simplest things, which are your words, then you'll never take divinity and sovereignty over your life. And that, cousins, is by design. I want to say as I'm leaving here today, I appreciate the hell out of you, cousins. And I have to say, I love the hell out of you, cousins. I have grown to have great affection for you. There's only about 50,000 of us. We're pushing our way through, but we are a family. We are cousins, and we are truly the last generation of real humans, and certainly the last generation of real cousins. So it is time for us to unindoctrinate ourselves, to realize that we're divine, we're sovereign, we're free. We don't have to go on bended knee to anybody's savior because we don't have original sin. We're born with that spark of divinity within. And you've just got to, what I had to do, and you'll notice I do it on the show, and it really bothers people. We stop. Like when that pathetic little guy that I won't even mention called in yesterday. And for some reason, he was talking about, we were talking about him trashing another podcaster. And the first thing he says is, "You're lying. You don't even have my book." So what did I do? I said, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, this ain't about your book. I don't know why that even matters. But what did I do? I said, "Oh, you say I don't even have your book? Hold on a second." What did I do? I pulled up the copy of his book that is so horrible I couldn't even read it. And I showed him, I've got it. And then what did I say to him? I said, "Were you or were you not wrong that I didn't have your book?" And he wouldn't answer it. So guess what? That's it. That's the end. That's the way you got to be in your life. As soon as somebody misuses the language or tries to throw something, you have to nail people down. "You don't even have my book." Here's your book. Were you right or were you wrong? And if they won't admit, "Oh, yeah, I was wrong," then there's no use even talking to them. You're wasting oxygen and time. And ladies and gentlemen, time is the most precious commodity in the whole world, because once you spend it, you can't ever get it back. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the UNindoctrination Station. This was a special little afternoon tidbit of late night in the heartland. I just had a great thought, ladies and gentlemen. My buddy used to do shows and casinos, and it was those impersonators, like Tim McGraw impersonator, Dolly Parton impersonator. And in the middle of the day, they would have a mini show. They'd go out and there'd be one or two of them. They'd sing like 2 or 3 verses of a song, and that kind of prepped people up to go to the show at night. I got to start having at least a little mini show in the day to get you ready for the late night in Heartland. So this was a late night in the Heartland mini show with me impersonating somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. So that's the way you want to look at it. So tonight, 10 p.m. Central Time, straight through till midnight, or as long as there's calls. Last night we stayed till 12:30. So we'll be here tonight. On your way out, please give a thumbs up, give a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And if you're a troll, thank you so much for being here. Keep coming back. Keep watching, keep viewing, keep putting in your stupid comments because we just knock them out. But every comment puts us a little bit higher in that algorithm. Every second that your stupid ass stays here because you got nothing else to do in your pathetic life but troll me, puts me higher up in the algorithm. And every view that you give me, even though you're blind, it moves me up higher in the algorithm. And somebody who's not stupid will get to hear it that wouldn't have got to hear it if your stupid ass hadn't been here. So thank you very much, trolls. Trolls, I love you long time. And to the cousins, I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. We're the last generation of real humans. It's time to unindoctrinate ourselves and get busy. See you tonight, 10 p.m. for, what's it called? It's called Be Brave. Chase that white rabbit, go all the way down that 17 rabbit hole. We're going to talk about Michael. We're going to talk about Prince. We're going to talk about Princess Diana. You notice a prince, a princess, and a king of pop. And we're going to go Donald Trump. We're going to go JFK Jr. Oh, man, you won't even believe it. 17 Fight Club. Who is it? What is it? Have we figured it out? Be here tonight, 10 p.m. Central Time, straight through till midnight. And I appreciate the hell out of every one of you. And we'll see you again real soon.